Well, guys, we have officially crossed over that 100-day mark, and to commemorate his first 100 days in office, Donald Trump decided that he was going to travel out to Michigan, he was going to put on a rally, and that went about as well as you might have expected it to go. Now, of course, just the other day, we looked at Donald Trump's polling, and he is underwater on nearly every single issue, which means Donald Trump is probably having a pretty bad week. And I think sometimes these rallies, they can be pretty informative, because if Donald Trump is good at anything, it is kind of harnessing the energy from the crowd. And I think we also see Donald Trump at his most unhinged when he is speaking to his cult members. So this speech did not go particularly well for a president who has only been in office for 100 days. But let's go ahead and kick things off by looking at how he thought his first 100 days went. If you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
In 100 days, we have delivered the most profound change in Washington in nearly 100 years. I read an editorial today that this is the most consequential presidency in history. How about that? And it wasn't even by a group that would normally be supporting us. It was a group of people that I think they tend to be on the liberal side, but they said it's the most important election. The November 5th, that changed it all. You have to see when you hear some of these numbers, but that is the most consequential election that we've ever had in our country.
Yeah, it might be the most consequential election that this country's ever seen, but probably not for the reasons that Donald Trump is thinking, right? I mean, Donald Trump has got into office and he is trying to consolidate as much power as possible into the executive branch. I mean, he is doing so many things that are so antithetical to our Constitution and the founding of our country that it is laughable to think that he has been consequential in a good way. I mean, he's rounding up innocent people and shipping them off to a gulag. He's doing this insane tariff regime and putting our economy into chaos. I mean, it has been a disaster, and the polls have definitely proved that to be so. But in Donald Trump's mind, consequential is good. Whether it's good or bad consequences, I guess, who knows? Donald Trump is an insane person. Here he is talking about AOC and Bernie, which I find pretty fascinating. How often is AOC and Bernie living rent-free in Donald Trump's mind?
One thing I got to give him credit, he's a lunatic, but he's still pretty sharp. And he's going around with AOC +3, you know, the +3 follow-up. They hang on for little bits. They hang on for nuggets. And they get crowds. They say, oh, our crowds are so much bigger than their crowds. Their crowds are small. If I ever had a crowd like their biggest crowd, they'd say it's over for Trump. He's lost the magic.
Yeah, I think Donald Trump might be a little bit concerned about the crowds that Bernie and ARC are drawing at this Fighting Oligarchy tour. I mean, they are drawing some massive, massive crowds, 30 up to almost 40,000 people at any given event. I mean, they are turning out big numbers, and people are coming out to rally against the Trump administration. They're looking around and saying, this guy's burning down my country. Let's stand up and do something. So I think Donald Trump is legitimately worried about the numbers that these guys are bringing out, and I hope that they continue to live rent-free in this maniac's mind. Let's go ahead and turn to something a bit more serious, because if one thing has been true about this second Trump administration, it's the cruelty. They are doing a whole bunch of different things that should make the average person squirm. And here at his rally, he decided that he wanted to play a propaganda video for the El Salvadorian prison. Now, I really can't tell what's more disturbing, whether Donald Trump decided it was a good idea to play this video at this rally, or it's all the cult members chanting USA, USA, as though this is something that we should be proud of. I just want you guys to think about something, okay? Go back and watch that video, this propaganda video from the El Salvadoran prison, and I want you to remember that 70 to 90% of the people that Donald Trump sent in that first batch down to El Salvador, they had no criminal record. We already know that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was accused of being a gang member, and they didn't provide any evidence to actually establish that fact. And they're sending them to a torturous prison in El Salvador. Innocent people. People who have done nothing wrong, as far as we know. Now, it would be one thing to just maybe deport people out of the country and, take them to a bus stop in El Salvador, but you are sending them to a maximum security prison in another country. And many of the people that were sent down there, they've never been to El Salvador. They're not from El Salvador. What we are doing here is disgusting. This is a prison that is known for their human rights abuses, and now the United States of America is complicit in this human trafficking scheme. And he decided that it was a good idea to go ahead and play a propaganda video highlighting this as though this is some big badass thing to do. It's an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Let's go ahead and move on to Donald Trump whining again about all of these polls that are coming out. As we talked about, Donald Trump is underwater on nearly every single issue, and he is just not taking it well, as you might assume.
And that's why we got, despite the fake polls, they do these polls where they interview far more Democrats than Republicans. I saw them over the last few days, and I had them checked out. They interview far more Democrats for the polls. They interview Democrats by big numbers and then Republicans by small. They say, Trump only has a 44% approval rating. Well, it's actually not bad. But when you figure that if it were a legit poll, it would be in the 60s or 70s. These people are a bunch of crooked people.
Just another tried and true method from Donald Trump, right? If he doesn't like the information, he says that it's fake. He says that it's rigged. Oh, they're doing it the wrong way, and it's heavily weighted to the Democrats. He has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. Okay, you might be able to point to one or two polls here and there that might be weighted in a way that you find disfavorable. But when every single poll that is coming out has you underwater on nearly every single issue, even issues like immigration, you know that you've got a problem, bro. I mean, we even looked at more specific polling. People don't want medical research funding cut off. People don't like that you tried to end birthright citizenship. They don't want to end that in our country. I mean, there's just so many things that Donald Trump is trying to do that the American people don't like. It is no wonder that he is underwater on all of these different issues. And to try to write it off as though everything is faked and rigged and yada, 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 I mean, you are just a petulant man, baby, who cannot take any criticism whatsoever. He is a pathetic, pathetic man. He goes on to go after the judges who are supposedly standing in his way.
And also, we cannot allow a handful of communist radical left judges to obstruct the enforcement of our laws and assume the duties that belong solely to the President of the United States. Judges are trying to take away the power given to the President to keep our country safe, and it's not a good thing. But I hope, for the sake of our country, that the Supreme Court is going to save this, because we have to do something. These people are just looking to destroy our country. Nothing will stop me in the mission to keep America safe again.
I mean, this should terrify every single American. Donald Trump is basically saying that all of these judges, they're trying to steal my power away. He just has a fundamental misunderstanding of how our system is supposed to work. We are supposed to have 3 co-equal branches of government, right? If Donald Trump gets out of control, we're supposed to have the 2 other branches that put that power in check. And Donald Trump is just straight up saying that's not how it should work. I should be able to do whatever it is that I want to do, especially when it comes to the issue of immigration. But the problem for Donald Trump is that even the Supreme Court, in a 9-0 decision, said that they needed to facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. They looked at the case and said, yo, this is not right. So Donald Trump can bitch and moan all he wants, and I hope the judiciary continues to stand up against him, because this is how the system is supposed to work. The judiciary is supposed to let us know whether or not the executive is breaking the law. This just shows who Donald Trump is at his core. We've said it over and over and over again on this channel. Donald Trump wants to be a king. He said he was going to be dictator on day one. And every single time he is talking to his cult members, this is the type of rhetoric that we get. He goes on to try to say that he's smarter than Jerome Powell.
Interest rates came down despite the fact that I have a Fed person who's not really doing a good job, but I won't say that. I want to be very nice. I want to be very nice and respectful to the Fed. You're not supposed to criticize the Fed. You're supposed to let him do his own thing. But I know much more than he does about interest rates, believe me.
Oh, I don't even think Donald Trump could define the term interest rates. He clearly doesn't know how tariffs work. He clearly doesn't know what a trade deficit is. And to think that he knows more than Jerome Powell about what we should be doing with interest rates right now, it's pretty rich, right? I mean, Donald Trump has been an economic catastrophe ever since he got into office for the second time. He's doing these tariffs on, he puts them off, he puts them on, he puts them off. I mean, it has been a disaster, and it is in our country's best interest to make sure that Donald Trump is unable to influence the Fed. We've seen it over and over and over again. You do not want the executive to have influence over your central bank. It's an absolute disaster, and Donald Trump, being as stupid as he is, I mean, he would wreck our country so fast. I mean, it would make our head spin. It would just be an absolute disaster. He goes on to say that he's now going to roll back those automobile tariffs. I thought...
And to help these automakers bring their factories home as rapidly as possible, I've just signed an executive order to give partial tariff rebates to any company that assembles its cars right here in the U.S. In other words, if they can't make it in time because they have to do it here, otherwise they haven't, I'm giving them a little bit of a break, right? They took in parts from all over the world. I don't want that. I want them to make their parts here. But I gave them a little bit of time. It's 15% and then 10% of the parts, so it's not so bad. Somebody would say, oh, well, that's a change in, but it's not. It's called a little flexibility.
Just a little flexibility, guys. No big deal. I've just been rallying on about these tariffs forever now, and I said that they were going to generate all of this different income for the United States. It was going to bring all this manufacturing back, but I'm going to go ahead and give them a little flexibility. I'm going to go ahead and roll those back a little bit, because I have absolutely no clue what I'm doing. Man, it is just so wild how often we are hearing about tariffs. He is shooting himself in the foot every single time he opens his mouth about tariffs, right? He puts them on, he puts them off, he puts them on, and then he pauses them. Oh, except for China, those are 145%. Oh, 10% across the board on everything else. Oh, maybe we're going to roll them back. I mean, what are we doing here, folks? Donald Trump clearly did not have a plan when it came to his tariffs. As we've discussed before, you can use tariffs in strategic ways, but that is not what Donald Trump did. Instead, he has injected all of this turmoil into our markets. He's injected all of this uncertainty into our markets, and it has been an absolute disaster for our country. And I guess I'm glad that he's rolling these auto tariffs back, because they shouldn't have been in place in the first place. But I mean, what are we doing here? This is the president of the United States, who can't even seem to make up his mind on whether or not he wants to implement tariffs, or if we're going to keep them in long term so they can generate revenue, or it's a negotiating tactic. I mean, it is a disaster. There's no other word for it. Donald Trump is a stupid, stupid man, and he should be nowhere near these types of policies. He's just proving to be just a catastrophe for the country. I'll go ahead and show you this one last clip, because I thought it was funny that Donald Trump is actually talking about the important things that are very, on top of people's mind right now.
So we've opened up the shower heads. the faucets, the toilets, the washing machines that don't give you water. All of that stuff has been opened up, and we're giving you gas ovens, gas stoves, if you'd like.
Do people care about this stuff? I mean, why is he still talking about shower heads and flushing toilets 12 to 15 times? I mean, what is with this guy? Something is seriously not right in his head. Why does he keep on coming back to these things? It makes absolutely no sense. Do you know anybody in your life that is complaining about their low-flow toilet or their shower? I mean, is this really what we should be focusing on? I mean, they seriously come back to it on a weekly basis, it seems. Oh, I'm opening up the showers and the faucets and the toilets, guys. We're doing it right. We're rolling back all the Biden stuff. Oh, man, these people. I mean, they're just not serious people. They are stupid people. They have no plan. They are hurting Americans. And then, we get through this first 100 days and Donald Trump decides to put on a rally because this is supposedly the golden era, right? Oh, man. I mean, it was an unhinged rally, that's for sure. Like I said before, Donald Trump is kind of in his element when he is speaking to his cult members. He is able to draw energy from the crowd, and he is a very effective, I wouldn't call him an effective speaker, but he's just good at harnessing that energy. He's a terrible communicator, but he talks in a way that his cult members love. And I think we get to see a more unhinged Donald Trump more oftentimes than not when he's at these rallies. And I think that's exactly what we got in Michigan during this rally. So I will leave it there for now, guys. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We are trying to build something here on the left that adequately pushes back against the right-wing media ecosystem that will just shovel this type of propaganda for Donald Trump every single day. So if you do like what I do here, please do remember to hit that subscribe button. It is free. And if you guys want to see that 100-day polling that is just an absolute shit show for Donald Trump, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.